Hi, everyone. We're doing the backstage interviews for the Metals Investor Forum. We have Rod Macdonald, who is VP Exploration for Southern Silver. Thanks for being here, Rod.
Thank you very much, Peter, for the invite, and it's a pleasure to be back at the MIF again. Again.
Absolutely. So why don't we just jump right in, Rod? We actually there's some pretty big news, recent news at Southern Silver. You do have three projects, so I do want to highlight that right out of the gates. But let's start with the flagship. Maybe you can tell us what the latest news is and what that bodes for the future.
Okay, thank you. Yes, about 2.5 weeks ago, we released the results from a preliminary economic assessment on our flagship Cerro Minitas project. Cerro Minitas is a large silver, lead, zinc skarn system located in Durango, Mexico. We've been working on that project for over 10 years now. First acquisition was in 2011. And we've been slowly but surely both building the mineral resources on the project and now taking it to the first initial economic assessment of the project. We're very excited about it. It's a great milestone for the company, and it sets an excellent baseline to continue building and continue growing on the project. It is fairly robust economics. With an NPV of 300 at a base case NPV of 349 million, with an internal rate of return of 17.9. So again, that's quite good. Very good revenues, $3.7 billion in revenues, and an excellent cash flow profile. With an average of about $84 million a year in annual free cash flow over the first 8 years of the mine. Drops off a little bit in the last 7, but that's also some other opportunities that we think that we can build on as well. So as I say, we're very, very happy and excited about the results of the PEA, and are looking forward to continue growing the project and developing the project further.
So what would a little bit higher, because there are some variations that you can calculate on this PEA, and so what would a little bit higher silver price and other metals prices do to the NPV?
Yes, well, we looked at a base case scenario as well as then a base case plus 15%. And the base case silver price was $21.95. The base case zinc price was $1.33. And these are the two primary metals that are being produced in the cash flow model at those higher prices, which are actually pretty reflective of where prices were in March and April. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we could soon see gaining those prices again. But what it does, in short, is it increases the NPV to just under $600 million. And the internal rate of return goes into the mid-20s, which is, again, quite robust and very good. And, of course, revenues associated with production at those higher prices would also increase as well.
So you had mentioned in your talk that as time goes on, you could look at ways you could refine perhaps the PEA and look for ways to tweak it to make it even more robust. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. What we wanted to do with this initial PEA was to establish a base case. And now what we're looking at doing is maybe adding a few more bells and whistles. And I think it's the right way to do it because, if you add in a bunch of things and then, you have some critical thinker going, well, I don't think that's right or don't believe it, it's hard to back out. And so it's easier, I think, to build. So the three main aspects that we want to look at are adding more resources. And the resource estimate that was used in the current study was from October 2021, and essentially our drilling cutoff was at the end of August. And so we have about another 15,000 meters of drilling that has gone on over the last year. And it's identified a further 400 meters of strike length of mineralization going down to a depth of about 400 meters, so it's about 400 by 400 meters. And it actually connects two of the deposits in the mine plan. So we'd like to get that added in. There's another component that we're looking at, ore sorting, and we have done initial test work, and that has been very effective at separating the mineralized material from waste, from the waste. And so we're looking a bit further into that and seeing how that can be applied to the process flow sheet. With ore sorting, again, this is a fairly large mine system, 4,500 ton per day. And so there's a lot of processing, a lot of electricity, a lot of water, big components that all go into processing that volume of material on a daily life of mine basis. So if you can reduce by whether it be a quarter, a half, or more of the waste material, then that means your capital costs will come down because you probably need smaller equipment. You need less electricity, less water. Your operating costs can come down, and it makes the entire operation just that much more efficient and likely more environmentally sensitive as well, which as these days it's always very important. So the ore sorting is probably maybe the biggest thing that we'll be looking at in the coming months. And then the last thing, there was a small amount of gold within the system, and that we had not incorporated previously into the cash flow model. There was also some oxide gold silver mineralization that again was not included within the mine model, and so we'll look at adding those elements. So we have new mineralization, we have ore sorting with the ability to decrease capital and operating costs for the project, and then we have increased capital, gold, and expanding the resource.
Okay.
Yes,
so, yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's a fantastic overview of Cerro Las Minitas. You do have two other projects in the southern U.S., Oro. Perhaps you could speak to that one. That's one of them, and tell us where that stands and how that's advancing.
Yes, and so with Oro, we are drilling that right now. We're on the third hole of about a 4,000 meter program. These are fairly deep holes actually, so we're I think just shy of about 3,000 meters at this point with that drilling, and we're targeting here a large laramide copper moly porphyry system. And the evidence that we had from previous surface work on the project was that we were in the upper parts of this system. And our drilling has seemed to suggest this, that yes, you're not down in the real go zone for the porphyry, and so we've now just had a couple of initial tests into what would be called the potassic zone, which is often where you get your better mineralization, and we're continuing now with that third hole, and probably we'll have a fourth hole that will drill test that zone as well. We are just waiting on some assays from the first two holes, and so we should have a news release coming out quite shortly, actually. And as I say, it looks it looks quite encouraging, and we're quite excited to be able to take that project that additional step, and again giving our shareholders that exposure to copper mineralization. So
there'll be some interesting news flow coming
yes.
from Oro as well.
From Oro
and
as well.
so there's Hermanas that's also in the southern U.S.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. That's much earlier stage.
Much earlier stage.
Right.
Yeah, it's a recent acquisition. We completed the option agreement, so we have an option to earn 100%, and we completed that in the fall of last year, and we've been doing some surface work on it. We did some surface sampling to verify some of the drill targets, and we're now in the process of getting our permits written and then submitted, and that could be anywhere from 6 months to a year in terms of getting the permits completed. But then once we have those in hand, we'll be looking at doing the initial phase of drilling on the project. And we like this project. It was brought to us by some old friends of the company, Bud Hillmeyer and Perry Durning. And, for maybe some of your viewers, they might be aware of Bud and Perry. They were two of the premier prospectors in Mexico over much of the last decade. They have in quite a number of different discoveries to their credit. Some of them world-class mines, and so when they like a project, we like a project, and so we're very, very happy of being able to pick that project up. And I should also mention it is a gold-silver vein system. So with the 3 different projects that we have, we're covering silver, lead, zinc. We have copper and moly with some gold credits, as well as gold and silver. So it really does spread it around for the shareholder and giving our shareholders exposure to a number of different metals that we believe are going to be high in demand in the coming months and years.
Well, it certainly sounds that like you have plenty of catalysts over the next weeks and months, and we can look forward to following the story at Southern Silver and watching the progress. And I think that there's a lot of value to be had, given especially the size of the resource and the project, and the valuations that unfortunately, perhaps on the one hand, but depending where you stand in terms of recognizing value,
yes,
can be very attractive for investors.
Agreed. I think at this time, it's a good time to get in. We believe that as metal prices turn around and we get a little bit of a tailwind, that we have an asset that strongly supports a much higher price for our shares, and a good time to get in.
Well, thanks so much for that overview, Rob. We did a good round of Southern Silver, and we look forward to following the story.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Peter.